Let's talk with the head writer from Late Night with David Letterman, Steve O'Donnell, who has co-written the new book, The Late Night with David Letterman, Book of Top 10 Lists. Steve, welcome to Des Moines and the show.
Thanks very much, Steve. Nice to be here.
This is a hilarious book, and all it is just top 10 lists.
I know. It was the easiest book to do. We just got Xeroxes of all the old lists, stapled it together, and then went out to eat.
And where did you come up with the idea for the book?
Well, I mean, obviously these things had been knocking around. We do top 10 lists fairly often on the program, and they'd accumulated. People had expressed some interest in them, and it seemed like something that would be fairly simple to get into a book since they're written already. I mean, they actually print out right on the TV screen itself, right. So it seemed like they would translate well into book form. There might not be too much else of the show that does, but these lists seem to work that way.
Now, of course, Letterman's name is big on the front cover of the book.
Just as it should be.
And I know that. He's your boss, too, right? But
yes, and a fine boss.
Now, how much do you have to do with it? That's the question.
Well, there's a staff of like 6 guys and 2 women and Dave, and we put together the top 10 list just about every night. Dave kicks in 1 or 2 and often comes up with a topic himself, so he's a sort of an equal participant in the writing process, not only for the list, but, you know, kind of across the board.
Well, let me picture this. You're in some kind of a conference room and you sit around and bat around ideas, or what?
A conference room, that's a great idea. Someplace where we could all sit at once. I'm jotting that down. No, yeah, we do. We have a big table, and we kind of like look at the newspaper and say, well, how about something with Darryl Strawberry? Or how about something with this Saddam Hussein guy? Or how about something with Donald Trump? You know, the newspaper and the daily events almost always push forward one topic or another. And when that doesn't, we go with something just sort of generic, like Fears of Snuggles, the Fabric Softener Bear,
right.
Or least popular TV dinners. And by the way, here's a scoop for you and your listeners in Iowa. That's tonight's top 10 topic.
Least popular TV dinners.
That would be things like split pea and hamster. You know, I can't believe it's not perch. And, you know, Al Sharpton's veal medallions.
So we heard it here first. We got a scoop on WHO. That's great.
There's a Pulitzer Prize heading your way.
Now tell me, Steve, is this like a business now? I mean, we picture you guys sitting around just having a good time all day, eating pizza, getting ready for the show. Is it like that, or is it more?
Yeah, no, I'm afraid it is like that, and we probably eat too much pizza. Not enough green leafy vegetables.
And everybody just sits around joking around?
Yeah, it is largely that way. It's I've literally clasped my hands in prayer, you know, expressing my gratitude to the Almighty just for being able to do this extended sort of collegiate atmosphere as long as I have been able to. I know I'll eventually have to do something much harder and much worse. And
you get paid for it, too.
I've been meaning to speak to them about that. I'm going to put that right under conference room. Some kind of salary. Yeah, no, it's a dream. It's terrific. We're the luckiest men and women on earth.
Now, my sense, I was out at the Letterman show just sitting in the audience once, and my sense was that Dave was kind of distant from the people in the audience. I mean, he's a very warm person, but he keeps his distance as well.
I think that was you personally, Steve. You mentioned something afterwards about some guy from Iowa. Maybe it's just professional. He does do something he doesn't have to do, which is go out and, you know, talk to the audience and warm them up before
he does.
the show.
He's a nice guy. I'm just saying that he all seems to keep a little bit of distance.
Well, that's maybe just be his style in general too, is to be you know, kind of a bit cool, a bit skeptical, and so on.
And my question is that the way he is around the office too?
He is. I would say, since he knows everybody on the staff, I would say in a certain way, the staff is the one group of people he is at home with. So whereas in public, I think he would be much like he would seem on the program. In the office, I think he's fairly relaxed. I think these people on the staff are, in fact, his friends. There's and one of them, of course, Paula Niedert of Waterloo, Iowa, you know, married Chris Elliott. So there's a big Waterloo and Iowa connection in general. Boy, did she constantly sing the praises of Iowa for its beauty and its culture. And so God bless her and her family.
Now, she was on the staff?
Yeah, she was. She booked guests, and you know, she found comedians. She, you know, got in touch with you know, actors, actresses, inventors, whatever, and coax them to come onto the program.
Now, most of the writers, are they from the Northeast, would we assume?
They're from all over the place. I'm from Ohio. We have one from Texas, one from California, one from Massachusetts, from all points of the compass, from all walks of life.
So
kind of like your B-17 crew.
So they all can contribute a different perspective then? When
Yeah, sort of, and for every one of us, it's our first TV job.
Are you serious?
I was a furniture mover and a greeting card writer and a tour guide. The rest of the staff has been, gosh, they've been everything. Shoe salesmen.
This is your first TV
writer,
job?
Weirdly enough, has a PhD in mathematics.
Was this your first TV job? Are you serious about
that? No, have I ever kidded you?
Yes. All the time.
It was, in fact, my first TV job. Yes, absolutely, for sure.
And how did you get it?
Well, I knew of Dave Letterman from seeing his morning show, if you had ever seen that.
Yes, great.
And when I heard that he was getting a nighttime show together, I said, oh, would I like to do this? So I sent him a package of material, of what I thought would be good jokes for him to try and do and so on. And he liked those well enough to kind of call me in for an interview, at which time he determined, I guess, that my personal hygiene was acceptable and that I wasn't a psychopath. And then I started to go to work for him, and I've been there ever since the first year, 1982.
And how typical is that? I mean, if somebody from Des Moines, Iowa wants to write in and become a David Letterman writer, can they just send a package of jokes and maybe Dave will hire him?
It's not unheard of. I mean, at that time, that's when he's putting the staff together, and we have gotten them from all directions. And of course, I'd probably be insane to just invite people to send in, applications for jobs from everywhere. But in fact, that is what's happened. I mean, we're not even. I mean, I didn't have an agent even at that time, and most of the staff doesn't either. It's again, I know we'll probably get in some sort of horrible trouble because you're supposed to go through official lines, but we've never really worked that way. It's always been from wherever, from here, there, and everywhere.
We're talking with Steve O'Donnell, who's the head writer for Late Night with David Letterman and co-author of the book of Top 10 Lists. Steve, the book just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
How's it doing so far?
Seems to be doing okay. I think people like books that don't have chapters and are without plot and you can skip around in and that are pretty much like watching television.
Now, some of these lists are just downright hilarious, and others are kind of on the questionable side, like...
Yeah, there's some oddball ones.
Tom Brokaw's Top 10 Turn-Ons.
Well, I actually gave a copy of this book to Tom Brokaw when he was on the program last, and he laughed heartily over every one of those turn-ons.
And he's a good Midwestern boy from South Dakota. So,
yeah, that's right.
So we'd like it right here. Top 10 Other Threats God Made to Oral Roberts.
Yeah, that was when a year or two back when he claimed that if he didn't get $2 million, God would take him home.
Top 10 Ways People Pronounce Baloney.
Yep. Yeah, well, that
how do you pronounce it?
I always go with baloney, but I remember the little TV ads when I was a kid growing up. It would always be, on sale at, Dairy Mart, grade A Bologna.
Right.
I mean, it's like there's an official and unofficial pronunciation. It's like ketchup, who knows?
Now, do you ever get in trouble for some of the stuff that you write?
Sometimes. I've had to argue some of the, items with NBC censor and broadcast standards, not because they're smutty or anything, though, of course, we're always trying to achieve that. Sometimes more, it's often there's some kind of political problem. We had done a list of top 10 signs that John Hinckley is rehabilitated. This was at a time when he had actually, they had solicited for parole because they believed he was rehabilitated. And one of the signs of his rehabilitation, besides things like thinking Shirley MacLaine would offer rocker and that kind of thing, was he was slated to play a harmonica solo at the next All-Star Salute to Dutch Reagan. And that seemed like in questionable taste to the censor because they thought, well, this man took a shot at the president. And I argued that in fact our point was satiric, that the man is not rehabilitated, and if you think he is, well, just imagine him in the proximity of Mr. Reagan again, and you go like, well, no way, forget about it. So they sort of saw that. What was odd about it was that I was dressed in a big fluffy rabbit suit at the time, because we often use staff members in the program in little bits. Several of us were dressed as rabbits to be part of this bizarre rabbit marching band, and it was like 5 minutes to airtime, so I was trying to make my serious point to the person from the network standards department with big floppy ears kind of dropping in front of my face.
So you're arguing about this right down to airtime?
Oh, well, we write the thing right before we go on the air. We write it like the hour before the taping begins. No, I'm telling you, Steve, we do.
Why?
I would like to say so they're as fresh and topical as we can get them. But
come on, you're lazy, admit it.
Yeah, it's because everything's down to the wire and everything's last minute, so we do them right before.
Now you tape at 5:30, right?
5:30 to 6:30, pretty much straight through, and then it airs that night.
And so you're saying the top 10 list is done an hour ahead of time. What about the other material? That's got to be done.
Oh, that's done 2 or 3 hours ahead of time.
Like today, aren't you right now working on a little bit of stuff for next week?
Yeah, exactly. When I got in touch with you, it was like we were just trying to figure out what to do for next week. Something to do Monday.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to ask this question again because I don't have it clarified yet. How much does Letterman contribute? I mean, seriously. Is he actually there for every meeting discussing all this, or is it basically you guys do the work and he gets the fame?
He could do a show without us easily. In fact, our job is not really so much writing, like writing sentences and scripts, as coming up with ideas and situations and things that he can pretty much do his thing. His talent, I think, is spontaneous comments and reacting and responding to things.
Yeah.
A lot of times you pick up a script for our show and our written part is only a sentence. It's like Dave goes to the window with a bullhorn and tries to get somebody to bring him up a hot dog from the street, the street below. He does the rest, and that's fine. No, it's a joint, mutual, cooperative, and team endeavor.
So he comes up with some of those oddball ideas for stunts, and you
absolutely.
You come up with some of them.
The tossing stuff off a tower was his idea, and the driving around comparing doormen uniforms was his idea. And he also has individual lines, like one of his reasons, and he had written a line for last night's top 10 list, which was reasons Darryl Strawberry is going to California. And he had written a line, because there's no more really good, I mean really good, I mean get up and shout for joy musicals on Broadway anymore. And you can sort of hear his voice in that. He's and the writers are even though we're tall, short, fat, thin, male and female, to some degree there's a spiritual kinship there with Dave. He is a great boss, and it is fun to work for him. He's never hurling papers on the ground and saying, who wrote this crap kind of stuff. It's never like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the fact that we're here means that he liked enough of our work that, he'd have us around, and we like that. It's fun.
The show's been on the air, 8 or 9 years now?
Yeah, 8 years.
And how do you keep, since you've been with it the whole time, how do you keep those creative ideas coming?
Well, obviously we don't. We stopped being creative about 4 or 5 years ago. I have no answer for that. I guess because there's a variety of people. But, I mean, I don't know. It's like a marriage. It's like a civilization. It's like eating food or talking. I mean, one way or another, you keep it, you sustain interest. I mean, we like doing this.
Yeah.
It's not a job. I guess when it feels like it is a job, we'll give up.
Does NBC do anything to, like, if maybe some extra perks or something to help you feel satisfied there?
Free coffee.
Now, a lot of times, David gets really down on GE and NBC and all this stuff. I mean, is that real? Is he taking his
I would say that is real, but I have to say, in turn, a tribute to our beautiful American Republic and its system. They really have not, they've never, really stifled us in any way. In fact, we did a bunch of GE jokes on the show tonight, and Mrs. Robert C. Wright was sitting in the control room the entire time.
President of the company, right?
The wife of the president, the chairman of the board, really,
right.
General Electric.
What about Emmy Awards? You guys are known for having been nominated and won some Emmy Awards, and is that something that you get excited about? Does it mean much?
Well, I mean, it is incredibly fun to go to California, and of course it's dizzy to go up on that stage and so on and win them, but I mean, I don't know really what their standards are or what the criteria is, and we could never set out to, say that's what we want to do. That was, to us, that was just the honey on the flapjacks, to use a sort of Iowa type phrase.
And do you have your Emmys?
Well, would you like to see them here?
Yeah,
Let me
please,
flip me over to the cabinet door. No, I have them...
use them as doorstops or what?
No, I have a couple of them at home, actually, in a closet. I really don't... I guess I don't have a large enough room that I could really I was trying to think of something, some sort of like, trapeze or a rope type system where when people open the doors, they would just come sliding right towards them. But I haven't been able to contrive that yet.
Steve, just a couple of quick final questions here before you have to go. What's in the future, first of all, for the show? Is there any kind of direction that the show is headed in, or is it just
more of the same old crap?
Same old stuff?
No. Well, we're always trying to keep it alive. I know. And again, Dave's interest in doing this program is still lively, and I mean, he comes up and analyzes and thinks and goes over what has malfunctioned or functioned at the end of every night, and says, well, let's give it a shot again tomorrow. We're just going to try to think of more stuff that entertains us and hopefully the people who tune in as well.
What about the future for a David Letterman head writer?
I'm sort of like an alcoholic, sort of taking it one day at a time. I'm happy here right now. I suppose people go on from these kind of jobs to, write books or movies or sitcoms or something. Really, this is my interest right now.
Do you want to be like Chris Elliott, where he went on to become a performer in his own show? Do you have a performing bug in you?
No, not really. That was Chris's particular gift. So, I mean, I think I'm better at this, writing and getting stuff together, and I like doing that.
Well, you're doing a super job. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
No, I've enjoyed it, Steve. Thanks for having me.
It's a great book. The Book of Top 10 Lists. Steve O'Donnell, the head writer from Late Night with David Letterman.